Hi, good morning, Boker Tov. So, when I come on these apps, everything that I say comes from a point in the heart and has to do with my spiritual convictions without prejudice. For some of you, UCC 1 308 Uniform Commercial Codes. So, I said something yesterday about transhumanism. So, this thing of these large corporations believing that they can take what belongs to the Lord and modify it, and they've created something new, and the only thing they've actually done is create a new thought. That thought is usually based off of base wants, not base needs. The belief that we can change what the Lord has created, both masculine and feminine gender, Ma'i Ma'ava, and claim ownership of it. And ownership is the key. So, those who call themselves Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, Yehuda, B'nai Yisrael, priests. So our rewards are not here. They're in Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, what some call heaven. Ownership. The ills that we face in the world have to do with ownership and who we place the hand of ownership in. Who actually holds the deed to the land, has not sold themselves into bondage, has no creditors. First comes to us in a point in our own heart to be caretakers of priestly nation, meaning we don't claim ownership. We're caretakers of what belongs to the Lord, not owners. When that point comes into all of our hearts, that we are a priestly nation, we are caretakers of what belongs to Hashem, Ma'i Ma'ava, Allah, the Lord, whatever name you want to ascribe to, our Ima'ava. Unfortunately, many of my brothers and sisters don't see our mother. And they are Echad, one. We created man in our image. Both male and female, we created them. So I know it's a hard concept. And it really does come down to the ego of the beast, and killing out the ego of the beast, which is the reptilian mind beguiling us that we are owners. Well, I took this soil and I made a patty and turned it into a ball, and that ball belongs to me now. No, the concept of creating the ball belongs to you, which is only a thought. The atoms belong to the Lord, always have and always will. So back to the transhumanism. It does not matter what you do to modify life and nature itself. You can't create a document to claim ownership of it. That includes a deed to property, everything that's created by that British Accredited Registry Bar Association that wants you to register everything. Your children that the Lord gives you that are actually the Lord's children. We're caretakers of those souls that are given into our care to raise up and to give them wealth, which is knowledge, not materialism. Living for base needs, not base wants. So it doesn't matter who you are, Monsanto, Gates, Fauci, congressmen and women who believe that you have a right to rule over others. It's all got to do with the point in the heart and the perversion. Usually sociopaths and psychopaths, people who want power or are attracted to power. So your documents aren't even worth writing. Because the one document that you can never present to any man is that you created an Adam, in the beginning. You can claim ownership of everything that you want to claim ownership of, but it's partially on us as well. Because as long as we believe that another man can give us a mentis mentari, docking our mind, they put us in UCC codes and admiralty law. So to any of you silly people who believe that you can play those mind games, I'm not a vessel lost at sea. I'm consciousness existing within a form of self, the I ego self, the mirror image of my Ima. I always have been and I always will be. No man of the flesh can take my divinity away from me. But the same goes for every soul. You can create your documents, but it does not give you ownership of the soul of a man. So this belief that we can create technology to modify what belongs to the Lord and then claim ownership of it. So marriage license, like a dog, got to ask somebody else for permission for a God-given right. Hunting license, permission to forage for food. Fishing license, permission to forage for food. Driver's license, permission to travel as a free man on the land. And it all does come down to that Gregorian calendar, because after all, that's the calendar everybody has to use for those contracts, which is why I say the Satan exists in Rome, at the Vatican, because after all, Rome, Pope, you're the one that believes that you can create these documents, these legal fictions, and take other people's sweat equity. But then again, that's why I call you the Satan, because you believe you can beguile, collude, and coerce others through your indoctrination system and creating fear in man, which is terrorism. Makes you a terrorist. You need us to protect you. We're your first responders. You'll never be my first responder. My Ima Abba is always my first responder. But this is a message to those of my brothers and sisters who will become woke in the right way. No, we are not these bodies. We are told that all throughout Torah and Tanakh that we are not these bodies. We know that. We are a nation of priests. We don't own the land. The land belongs to the Lord. No document that you have ever signed is a lawful document. They're legal documents, which makes them null and void. They all want you to use the Gregorian calendar, the Time Zone Act, which those things are what puts you into admiralty law, because you're not following the Lord's calendar and the Lord's time. And like I said yesterday, the first of Nisan, which would be the night after the eclipse, April 8th, for those of you that are following the Satan's calendar. Well, the next day or that night, when the day ends, when the sun goes down and the moon rolls over the night, will be the new year for me. And those who actually believe in the holy books. Nowhere in there are you told Pope Gregory created the sun and the moon. Nowhere in there are you told that you're supposed to be following the Time Zone Act of the Minister of Transportation. The Minister of Transportation is your God, and Pope Gregory is your God, which goes all the way back to Julius Caesar. Render unto Caesar what is due Caesar. Those are not your gods, but you worship at the altar of the state, and you follow what other men's dictates instead of that book. Your name belongs in that book, and your family's names belong in that book, not in a prostitute's parchment, the Satan's parchment. But everything belongs to the Lord, including the body you're living in. And I know it's a hard concept for some people to grasp. But when you learn that, you'll also learn that no man has a right to claim what belongs to the Lord either. So that's the message for today. God bless. Much love.